You got 45 seconds.
All the time.
Yeah, go ahead and get
You shooting for 15 or 20 minutes?
I think we got a little more meat on our bones this week than we've had in the last couple of meetings.
A little more meat on the bone.
We were
Sharpen your
starving.
knife.
We were starving last time.
Last month was like 8 minutes, I think.
We could have held our breath and got to the last
Yeah, that's because you were here. We were just like,
Yeah, that's right.
the party needed to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mayor, microphones are on there.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the April 14th, 2025 Town of Kildover Hills Board of Commissioners meeting. I call this meeting to order and invite everyone to please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As we prepare to enter a moment of silence, I would like to take a moment to remember a couple of our community members that will be greatly missed. Marsha Brown worked tirelessly for years to serve the veterans throughout our Outer Banks community. Everyone knew her through her gig line column in the paper. The veterans and their families knew her as a caring soul who was always ready to help in their time of need. Marsha had continued the work of her late husband, Billy, who was also a force of nature and advocate for our servicemen and women. Our hearts go out to the Brown family. Please keep them in your thoughts and prayers. I'd also like to take a moment to acknowledge the Sadler family and the loss of Linda Sadler. Sterling and Linda were really the heartbeat and had their finger on the pulse for Fifth Street and the Wright Shores community for decades. They had, I think it's fair to say, legendary week Friday evening parties all throughout the summer at their tiki house. I mean, they took fun and fellowship and friendship to the max. And, I'm very lucky to call Linda a friend. And I wish Sterling and Davis and that whole community along Fifth Street my heartfelt condolences. So that said, please join me in a moment of silence. Okay. Our next item of business this evening is our agenda approval. Board, we have an agenda
Yeah,
before
move
us.
to approve the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the agenda as presented and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
We have an agenda. Now's the time we set aside for public comment. This is an opportunity for anyone in the audience to address the board on any topic of their choosing that pertains to the town. Do ask that when you're called upon, approach the podium, speak into the microphone, and identify yourself by name and address. There will be no debates. So keep your comments to 3 minutes if you're speaking as an individual and 5 minutes if you're speaking on behalf of the group. Is there anybody who'd like to speak in this first session of public comments? All right. Hearing none, we'll move on. No response. Town manager, any ongoing business this evening?
No, sir.
All right, let's move on. Item number 1 of new business, Street Improvement and Special Projects Committee conceptual right-of-way improvement plan recommendations along East Boundary Street and East Corrigan Street.
Yes, sir. On the 1st of April, the Street Improvement and Special Projects Committee met and reviewed 2 proposals that included conceptual right-of-way plans proposing to improve and pave portions of unimproved streets. The Public Services Department and the town engineer have approved the final, will approve the final engineering plans prior to construction, and all state and local permits will be secured prior to construction. This would be for East Boundary, US 158 to Wrightsville Boulevard, and East Corrigan, Wrightsville Boulevard to South Memorial Boulevard. A motion would be in order to approve the right-of-way plans presented pending the recommended conditions with the town's acceptance of the improvements resulting from the private development of a public right-of-way. We like seeing these.
All right, so looking at item A of the first part of new business this evening, any questions or discussion on the board?
Other than I like the fact that they had on there, they were going to let the live oaks remain. I like that.
And Commissioner McAvoy may have something to add from the street committee.
Right, we had the street committee meeting, the other day. Everybody was in, agreement, consensus on approving both of these improvements. The town's recommendations were the same, so, there's no cost, on either one, right?
No, sir.
To the town
No, sir.
on either one of these projects.
Right.
So, so they both seem to make sense. The one near next to Destination Fun over there, that's always been kind of a strange spot, if you
Mhm.
recognize that. And then Mr. Dunson's request, they both seem to be logical and good in the good of the town. So.
Preliminary plats look good to me.
Debbie, can we do, does each item need to have an
Yes, you
individual?
could just do a motion to
We do a
approve
motion,
as
but I'll-
presented.
Entertain that motion if someone would like to make it for both items A and B.
I would move that we approve items A and B. Where we at under new business one?
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Okay. All right, new business item number 2, appointments. We have Howard Buchanan's term is expiring April 2025. He is our planning board's chairperson and has held that down and done a mighty good job for quite a few years now. He's in the packet expressed interest in being reappointed, and on the personnel board, Christine Stafford. Term also is set to expire in April. She has expressed interest in reappointment as well, and open it up to discussion on these 2 spots.
One motion good?
Yes, sir.
I make a motion that we reappoint Howard Buchanan as back to the planning board and Christine Stafford to the personnel board.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 All right.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Christine and Howard.
Yes.
All right, new business item number 3, police department update. Officers, welcome.
Meredith. Here's your PowerPoint. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. All right, so this is a plan for police department Halloween. We've been doing this for years. I've been here for 9 years now. And this is the plan we've continued with and what we'll try to implement. The objective of this Halloween plan for the town of Kill Devil Hills and the police department is to ensure a safe and secure environment for the community during Halloween by implementing proactive policing strategies, enhancing public safety measures, and effectively managing crowds and traffic. The goals: public safety and crime prevention, increase police presence to deter criminal activity, crowd control and event security, deploy officers to high traffic areas and known gathering spots to ensure public safety, community engagement, create positive interactions between law enforcement and the community, emergency preparedness and response, coordinate with emergency services to respond promptly to incidents, including medical emergencies, disturbances, or potential threats. This is our area of operation. So it's West First Street behind Publix and Lowe's. The yellow areas are the highlighted streets that are affected. I have post one there. That's where myself, the community police officer, and normally Captain Carter sets up. We'll sit there and give out candy utilizing the UTV. And we're the first people that everybody sees as they come to this area. The plan, community police officer plus one additional police officer, typically Captain Carter, located in that area of the Outer Banks Baptist Church near Publix and West First Street. We utilize the UTV, community police officer plus additional officer maintains visibility, and we hand out candy, answer any questions that the public may have. Community police officer plus additional officer also patrols those highlighted areas before and after the event. And we have a patrol shift on duty that's typically 3, possibly more. They can respond to calls of service if needed. Any questions on that?
But was there some thought of shutting it down at some point?
There's been some recent discussion on traffic, especially automobile traffic
Would it be
along
too
First
hard
Street.
to shut it down?
And,
To prohibit it, yeah.
Too difficult.
yeah, I live right in the heart of Halloween country. And,
Yes, you did.
and,
The candy corn guy.
I
How much does it
I got,
cost?
we have to buy another mortgage payment and candy every year. So, and it's a lot. I don't see a lot of people are pretty happy and well behaved. For the
And
most
I'll be
part.
happy to answer that, Mayor. 'Cause, you know, my daughter is 26 now, so she has not trick-or-treated forever. I usually volunteer and take it so that other guys and ladies at the department can go out and trick-or-treat with their kids. We have not had any problems in several years. This has worked for us. We go out on the UTV very early before any trick-or-treaters start. We stop and let just houses along the way that we talk to that are outside come in and out of there. And then we go to the major point where people come in and out. And we've never had any traffic issues. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of kids walking, strollers, wagons, those kinds of things. And were y'all able to hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can-
I was making sure I didn't need to restart. But no, as far as that goes, everything we've done for those years has worked. We can never predict the future, but what we have done so far has worked for us. And we still have 3 officers out there that are usually either walking, riding the UTV, making their turns, and we stay till the event is over and do a full drive through of the area just to ensure everything is okay.
Oh yeah, I think everybody always feels safe there. It's a great night, so we appreciate all that. But I think there was just some discussion of maybe trying to shut down a road or deter vehicle traffic on some of the roads. But I think it's just not really possible. So
And unless the assistant chief would like to say, our stance would be to go the way we've been
Just
doing
keep
it.
it, yeah.
Yes, sir.
We passed out some of the flyers, the information that Rachel puts out just before Halloween and different social media, just educating people.
yeah,
There's so many roads back there, it would take a ton of people.
Yes.
It would take more than the whole department. It would be a 4th of July event
Yeah.
to try
Yeah,
to
it's-
do something like that, and it would really upset the neighborhood.
And to add to that, Captain Carter.
Very bad.
Whereas the 4th of July is a town event, this is not.
Right.
This is
Mhm.
simply a neighborhood event that our police department does what they do all the time, and that's help make it safe and better.
It's already bad enough that Domino's won't deliver back there on Halloween. So I don't want to make life any harder than it already is.
I imagine the businesses allow parking and
I think the
I
church
think,
and
I think
Publix
it's all
are.
very well
They-
organized.
good.
within
Well,
itself.
Publix and
Yeah.
Lowe's allows it, and even the use of the bathrooms and stuff for the kids, because they go in there and get sandwiches.
Oh, that's
We
great.
do have people that come from out of town to trick or treat, and they use their outdoor seating area,
yeah.
and everybody has been very good to us. And the kids, the
Yeah.
adults, and everybody else have been very good to us, and
Yeah.
so much so that I give out a ton of candy too, Mayor. But
Good.
It's one night a year.
I know I speak on behalf of everybody that we appreciate all the people all the money they spend, obviously, and making it a great event, but also the businesses that also understand that it's a traditional thing, and they're good to everybody coming to trick or treat all the kids. So that's great to hear. So yeah, you guys do great work. Thank you.
All right.
Good report.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Allen.
Good job.
Okay, let's move on to committee reports.
Nothing for me, sir.
I'll give a little Community Appearance Commission report. We have been divvied up all of the town access, the beach accesses to assess the cigarette butt holders. So that's the next thing on our list, to see what the maintenance of it's like, and also to record any other maintenance issues at the accesses that we might see, and submitting that. I think that's due to Parker on this Thursday. And they just gave out trees. I think there was 10 or more, 15, quite a few live oaks that they just gave out. So that's exciting. And just moving forward with keeping things clean. They're also doing the Community Appearance Commission Awards this year. It's an award year, so that's exciting.
I always thought the awards were probably the most fun thing to do on the CAC.
Yeah.
Nice to go around and recognize all the businesses and organizations that do a really good job making themselves and our town look good.
And the town manager spoke about fireworks. And you should have received notification that our grant was approved through the tourism board.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we'll have some boom, boom, crash,
Good.
crash.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Any more committee reports this evening?
Well, I met with our committee, obviously, those recommendations that were in front of you today. And I think we also talked about my little pet peeve that Fifth Street light was not changing. I think maybe that's been fixed. I don't know. I'm hoping. From the west side, the light was not changing when you were turning southbound onto the bypass, and it hasn't. But a call was made by Pete. I don't know. I feel like it might have been fixed. So I'm hoping that's true.
I've been through it a bunch of
I'll
times since
update.
then, but there's
It's
been a bunch
been-
of cars there, so I can't.
Yeah.
I haven't been in a lone car.
Yeah. It's been so
Eastbound
bad.
side. It's the East Fifth Street.
Yeah. Sorry. Coming off of east onto southbound,
Yeah.
it just doesn't change at night. It doesn't change. You'd have to almost get out and push the button if you wanted to change. And nobody wants to do that. So, or wait for another car to come from the west side, before the light would change. So I'm hoping that's been fixed, because that was bad, especially at night when there's nobody else around.
Yeah, nobody will trigger it.
Yeah, there's nobody to trigger it. Yeah, so you were not triggering it from the ground. So I'll report back on that. But other than that, our meeting was good and well attended. Everybody attended. We got some business done.
We got a new member on the board of transportation,
Yes.
test judge. So Alan's no longer there. And Chief, I think you're happy with the signals in front of the station now?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for your assistance.
You're the guy that did the work, so thank you.
Are you aware? Anybody aware of any other signals that have those type of problems? Or have you seen this Fifth Street issue officers yourself at night?
So, you know where I live.
Yes,
but,
yes.
So I use that light every morning.
Yeah.
And at night, it's almost like it's on a timer more than a pressure
It does,
plate from
yeah.
time to time. But then sometimes it fixes itself, and sometimes it gets hung.
Yeah.
Every time it does, we make sure we go out, check the timing of it, and if it is not cycling, we'll notify DOT.
Oh, okay.
to come, because everything is completely computer based
Okay.
now for them to log. in.
Yeah, that's the only one I've noticed driving around, but okay.
It does have its moments.
Okay. Yeah. It's getting busier.
Any more committee reports? Anything planned under commissioner's agenda?
Nothing here.
Right. Let's move on to mayor's agenda. We'll start out with some happy news. Congratulations, Mayor Pro Tem Ivy Ingram, on your recent appointment to the Coastal Resources Advisory Council. I know you're doing a great job, and having recently served on that board, it's a great way to learn and advocate and experience statewide politics.
Yeah. And thank you to Meredith and Cameron. They spent a couple hours with me, caught me up. I've been reading minutes. So
Very nice. Trash attack. Thanks you to everyone who attended this year's trash attack. We will have a recap coming on our April 30th agenda, but the weather was perfect and a nice strong crowd. We had beautiful artwork for our poster participants. So, and I want to recognize Commissioner Hykins. He helped me locate and address a real eyesore.
Yeah.
I guess if trash attack was a competition, we would have won by a landslide on the quantity of waste that we found. So it's 2 years in a row
Did you find another spot?
we found
He
another
found
spot.
he found another spot.
We found it as Commissioner Hykins said, there was a nice little trail of breadcrumbs that led us to to the pot of gold, so
Yeah.
to speak. But
Quite the pot of gold.
but it was nice that we could address a problem that that big in our town. And we wouldn't want kids or anybody like that finding it. So that's been taken care of.
I look forward to next year.
Yeah.
The food was great.
The food was good.
Nice and
Great.
donated
Yeah.
food. Kelly's and
Yeah, Kelly's,
Harris Theater.
Harris Theater, and Front Porch.
That
Front
was
porch
really
golf.
nice. And also, I noticed, good or bad, that the bypass is way dirtier than the beach. So it seemed like
It does.
there was a lot more garbage on the side roads than, which is, I mean, at least the beach seemed cleaner than
Mhm.
than usual. Couldn't find much there. We had to shoot onto the bypass, and we found a bag.
Yeah. We hit up a business on 3rd Street. And one thing that I found discouraging was the single-use plastic bags stuck in the shrubbery and the
Yeah.
green line around them. They were everywhere.
Huh.
And that's a problem a few years ago that was addressed, and now we're living with it again.
Yep.
So that was discouraging to see.
Yeah.
They were everywhere.
The storm grates are some of the worst spots I
Yeah.
found too. Yeah.
they're low lying.
Yeah.
And then
Mm-hmm.
And there's just tons of garbage in each one of them.
All right. Moving on, we have some resolutions and proclamations on the mayor's agenda this month. The first one, item number A, is opposition to Bill 765 and similar legislation to strip municipalities of planning and zoning authority. This is a fight that seems to come up now every few months, unfortunately, and the latest round seems rather alarming. And Meredith, if you're comfortable kind of speaking on House Bill 765, what are some of the concerns we've identified and why we are looking at this resolution tonight?
There's a lot to this bill, and it went to committee, I believe, early last week, and we'll see how it comes out of committee. But there are several sections, and I won't painstakingly go through it, but I'll give you some of our immediate concerns. And I sent you a memo
Yes, you did.
Yes.
for you to deep dive into House Bill 765. But one of the issues that'll be an immediate impact will be the requirement for a fiscal note for every amendment, zoning amendment, map amendment that we do with the town has to have a fiscal note prepared on how it will affect the value, buying, selling, or construction of any residential dwelling. That's a huge endeavor, and it has legal ramifications under this bill that say that it can be used against the town in court if we have it predicted that it's going to make something cost more or less. It doesn't say you can't adopt something based on the fiscal note, but you have to prepare it for every single change you make. That's a huge endeavor, and it really doesn't have a lot of guidance on what you're supposed to show. It's going to be, not going to say impossible, but it's knocking on the door of it.
So would that just be there sort of discourage any change? Basically, is it so hard to?
Well,
that it would
it's
almost
the
discourage anybody?
section's entitled Affordable Housing Impact.
Mhm.
So it goes to the theme that we've seen lately in the bills that have come out for workforce housing, affordable housing. And I would say that it leans towards that they don't want to see changes that are going to cost more to build a house, make a house less valuable, or make it more expensive to buy.
That's predicting a lot of future. Yeah. I mean, you could make an argument for anything. Yeah.
So that's going to be that's going to have an immediate impact on how to prepare it, what it needs to say, what y'all need to do with it. A lot of questions about that one. So I'll leave that at that. I can't answer these questions because I don't have the answers. I'm just trying to give y'all some of the concerns. If I had the answers, I would. That'd be good. There's a section 4. We in my memo, I talked about the conflict of interest. One of the main concerns is number 3, that a member has a fixed opinion prior to a hearing on the latter that's not susceptible to change. I'm going to try to get Casey to weigh in on this a little bit more, because our concern is if the board directs staff to create an amendment, then you have your mind set that that's an amendment that
fall
you'd
prey
like
to
to
that.
see. Does that mean the entire board can't vote? Is it susceptible to change? So there's a lot of legal questions about that particular conflict of interest. The government fees, we won't do that. One of the big ones, the 2 big ones that we have are Section 9. Section 9 of the bill that's powers given to municipalities. We've talked about this before. You can't regulate the number of bedrooms, a building design or layout, right? Well, now they're saying this bill will eliminate the town's ability to require any parking. Not only the size of the parking space, but we can't dictate the number of parking spaces for different uses. We can't dictate the layout of the parking spaces, parking configuration. And so that will have a major impact on residential and commercial development. If they don't feel like they need parking, they don't have to build it.
And that would be always going forward, right? Going forward.
Yeah, and it would create,
Crazy.
Yes,
Yeah.
It'd be
no,
going
this is-
forward. It would
yes.
be
Crazy.
Yeah.
but someone could redevelop and
And then
do
they'd be
additions and eliminate parking because we can't require parking.
other than
And it also goes into driveway widths and driveway cuts. And I mean, it snowballs from there, but the losing the authority to require parking for commercial and residential uses is
Oof.
an immediate impact that we would have. Also, it would eliminate our ability to have minimum lot sizes. Instead, it would work with units per acre. And we would probably be in the 4 units an acre realm with the size of the county. And that would if you split it evenly, it's not that, it'd probably be around 12,000. We require 15,000 right now. But it also doesn't have a requirement for splitting it evenly. So you could have very small, the minimum is 4 units an acre. But you can't put a lot size requirement. So you could end up with some very interesting lots. There are 2 or 3 sections that we would need our town attorney, specifically 16 and 17, civil liabilities in certain instances. I don't know what that means exactly, and I've reached out to Casey. He was busy he had a lot going on too, but he said he would look into it and get back to us on what effect that would have for us. Also, our consistency statements, which we do for zoning amendments, are currently not reviewable. If someone puts a civil suit against us saying it's unfair amendment, now it will be under legal scrutiny, the consistency statements you make with zoning amendments. So we're probably going to get a lot more tight on the consistency statement. That's not a big change, but it's just something you'll see. There'll be a lot more in them for that. And I guess that would be the very, very 100th floor view of some of the highlighted issues we're going to see in this bill. And it is gone to committee. I don't know how it's going to come out. One other concern is a lot of things are based on the number of residents. If that number changes, we might have a lot of more to talk to you guys about. Right now, a lot of it's set at 125,000 residents. If that number goes away or becomes much smaller, we'll have a lot more to bring to the board as concerns. We'll be watching. There's also, I put in that memo, there's also 3 other bills out there that are dealing with Senate Bill 688 is very similar to 765, House Bill 765. It doesn't have quite as much of the changes, but the changes that are in it are identical to 765. There's also Senate Bill 495, which is for ADUs. It restricts a municipality's ability to regulate accessory dwelling units. It just says you have to have it in every zone. We pretty much do that. I'm not concerned about that. And then the Senate Bill 487 expands middle housing, and it requires municipalities to allow multifamily up to 6 units and townhouses in all residential districts. We currently don't allow multifamily in our residential districts. So we're also watching that one.
Wasn't there something in there about sprinkler systems as well?
You can't require them.
Right.
Correct.
I
And
don't
you
know
also
what they're
can't,
thinking.
you also can't restrict their long-term or short-term use. So you can't say, okay, well, we'll allow multifamily, but it's got to be for workforce. It's got to be long-term. It does not allow that to happen. So they're the bills we're watching, but the bill that we're doing the resolution for is House Bill 765. And I hope I've given you enough to chew on.
I want to commend planning staff for what they put together on this, because it's a whole lot of information, and resolutions are good. I'll tell you what I think, my feeling. I think we need to put together a contingency to go to Raleigh, to go sit down face to face with our representatives and perhaps the Senate President Pro Tem and say, you know, we don't like this. This is not in the best interest of our town. The land use plan is the basis for our zoning ordinances and the things that we try to regulate. And this is just a slap in the face to it. That's our citizen input. So that would be my suggestion to the board, that we put together a group to go to Raleigh and say, this ain't cutting it for us.
Yeah, I think lobbying our state representatives against this and really making sure our opinions are loudly heard is going to be an important part of this process. Meredith, again, thank you for the memo and the explanation. When I was, had the weekend to think about this, I thought back to some of the work that all the towns in the county did together back when the flood maps were changed. And we saw a lot of coordination and teamwork on getting the message out about how important it was to keep flood coverage and flood plans. And if all the municipalities are on board with resolutions against these updates and working together, maybe we can put a public information campaign together between all the towns, but hopefully the county as well, to really educate our citizens on the long-term negative effects of these potential laws. So that was one idea I had. And my head spun when I read this. I was couldn't really, the barking stuff, the height stuff, the lot coverage pieces. It's a lot of stuff to worry. Yeah, it's a lot. I've never imagined when we got our packet that this was what we were going to be jumping in.
I can't
this
imagine
week.
any municipality in the state would like this, would like these, like to lose these powers. I mean, maybe some of the best things we do in any town in this state are these our ability to control our development to some extent. I mean, if they take away that power, I mean, there's almost no use for these for these committees and these groups. I mean, how could any town, municipality, how could any municipality not be upset about the state taking away these powers? And all the people should also be upset. All the people in North Carolina should be upset, and yet I don't think there's any real understanding out there of what's going on. I don't think there's any real. There's not enough attention. There's not written about this. There's not. It's being done quickly behind closed doors, quietly. Yeah, packaged in other ways. It should upset everybody, really, because who knows best how to manage your area, but the people who live there and work there. And all that.
I'd urge the board to come up with a consensus to move forward with setting up a meeting. And Mayor, it might be something that you want to discuss at your mayor's meeting.
Correct. Tomorrow is our next mayor's luncheon, and
There you go.
we're going to have full plates and lots of conversation around this. This is a lot to get on board with. I've already talked to some of my peers in another town about this, and then everyone's alarmed. Everyone is
I mean,
not
you did
happy.
back when when insurance, you did a great job. For instance, getting the word out just as an individual and leader in the community, Ivy. So I thought, what do we have to do on our own social medias and things to get the word out about what's happening?
Well, and I talked to Cameron he was so generous to talk to me for about an hour, because when I saw this on Monday, someone sent it to me. I have a friend who's a lobbyist in Raleigh, so she sent it to me. So I immediately emailed Debbie, called. You were out, so I was like, Cameron, you gotta call me. So we talked for about an hour and really went in depth, because I had gone through and read everything, and I think it speaks to a larger picture. And I'd like to know a couple of things. Do we have a sense of other municipalities that are alarmed by this? Is there a way? I know it seems to me anyway, not to discredit the League of Municipalities by any means. It just seems that they are not the go-to that they used to be for some of these things for whatever reason. So in that case, what is the mechanism for finding out if it's alarming to other municipalities and banding together? And I know the mayors, and I know that's regionally, but this is a state bill.
Oh, yeah, it's statewide. Yeah, I agree.
Every municipality be
So
upset about this?
I guess that's what I'm curious
Right?
about,
Is that
is
not
what
right?
the,
Do you agree?
Oh,
Should
yeah.
it be every municipality?
You
If
would
you're really
think.
taking power away from municipality, who could be happy about that?
and so I think, a couple years ago, we could rely on the League of Municipalities. And I'm not saying
Correct.
we can't, but it sure doesn't seem like they are
Organized.
as
But no.
willing to go to Raleigh
They're
on
not as
certain
speedy.
things as they used to.
Yeah.
Is
I
that
think,
They're not
fair
they
to
are
say?
more on top of this one
Okay.
than the one that we were dealt with before
Okay,
on the down
great.
zoning. But you have two different scenarios. That one was attached to a bill that was not going to go into committee, that was going straight to
Right.
the
It
floor.
was a hurricane.
It was
Yeah,
a
it was a hurricane bill.
vote,
Mhm.
yay or
Yeah.
nay. You couldn't
Mhm.
take anything out.
Right, right.
But this one, I think they've had an opportunity to review it a
Okay.
little bit more. They've sent us some information. We're going to share with you something that we came upon. It's an article from the paper in Wilmington, the port city. And it talks about how the bill is actually supported by the North Carolina Board of Realtors and the Home Builders Association. And they are quoted in this article as in being support of it. They speak to affordable housing, and that how municipalities and local governments have talked about not being able to have housing for their employees, but some of the actions that they have in their zoning are prohibiting that. So we're going to share this with you. I think you'll find that very interesting. But I do, Commissioner Ingram, I think the league is
Okay.
on top
Then I
of
do.
this.
All right, well, we do have a resolution.
You have a busy day tomorrow.
Yeah, busy day.
I'll make
Um,
sure you have that article, Mayor, for your meeting tomorrow.
Thank you very much. I will look for a motion. Do we need I guess we need a motion for the
If
resolution.
you'd like, you can go through them all and just do one motion,
Sure.
kind of lessen the number of motions.
I know item, this first resolution is a lot to talk about, House Bill 765. Before we move on to item B, any more comments, questions, or concerns? Take it forward.
No.
Okay.
I guess that could be some sort of concerted effort if there are other towns,
There
you
you
know,
go.
maybe we can go together.
Yeah. This is why we're incorporated. It affects our municipality different than, let's say, the center of the
Correct.
state or further west or anything
Correct.
like that. So,
All right, item number B under resolutions and proclamations is a resolution encouraging the General Assembly to expand authority to construct housing for local government employees. This resolution was a product of the Housing Task Force that I've been a part of, and so is Jordan from the Planning Department.
Brian.
Brian,
Right.
sorry, apologize. And if I know Donna Creef is here, welcome to invite Donna to speak on it. But this is something that gives us a little more power to, you know, look at more ways to address housing in our town. A little funny talking about this after the conversation we just had, but you know, I do seeing all the work and thought and time that went into this. I think it is the right step forward, what we want to accomplish in Dare County. Next proclamation is declaring April as Fair Housing Month. And our last item is proclamation designating Carolina's RIP current awareness
Bless
week.
you, Mary.
God bless you. And
Excuse me.
Bless you.
RIP curtains are very much a part of our lives. So 4 resolutions here. As a town manager mentioned, we could do one catch-all resolution. If anybody has any questions or issues with any of them, we can discuss it now and edit a resolution around that. But I'll open it up for discussion or motion.
I move to approve all the resolutions A through D.
I'll second that motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Well, all right, the mayor's agenda is wrapped up. Town manager's agenda,
No, sir, thank you.
town attorney, well, no.
No, sir.
No town attorney agenda tonight. We'll move forward with our consent agenda.
Yes, sir, thank you. First item is the minutes from the March 10th, 2025 Board of Commissioners meeting, the February 2025 monthly report, budget amendment to appropriate funds for beach sand fencing available from Dare County. And lastly, schedule public hearing, proposed zoning amendment, ocean impact zone, residential zone setback, add setback requirements for residential lots not abutting Atlantic Ocean. Planning staff and the planning board have reviewed, recommend a public hearing set for Monday, May the 12th at 6 p.m. And approval of the consent agenda will place this item for public hearing. And staff recommends a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
second. Whoop.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, we're done. Now we're at our second opportunity for a public comment. If anyone in the present this evening would like to address the board, they're welcome to do so.
I just want to add, Michael shared with me to just remind everyone that once those resolutions are adopted, they will be forwarded to the other Dare County local governments and placed on the listserv. So that information will be getting out to others. So thank you, Michael.
Is there anybody who'd like to take advantage of this second public comment period? All right, hearing none. Nothing to respond to, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 We are adjourned.
Good work.